Hey everyone, it's summertime and I am here today with my pals Danuelle Doswell and Mignon Hemsely, and they are the founders of Grounded, which is a black-owned plant shop. And they're actually opening a brick and mortar. So I'm really excited to talk to you all today
We're
about
excited to be here.
plants and everything. Thank you all so much for being here.
Absolutely. We're happy to be here.
So let's get started. So you all tell us about Grounded. What is Grounded?
Um, the way we describe Grounded is as a wellness brand reconnecting you to nature through houseplants. So we do a lot of studies on why nature is important for your wellness, and our way of like spreading that message is bringing nature indoors with houseplants. We also do corporate wellness. So we work with companies and fulfilling their wellness initiatives. So we work with Google, ESPN, MIT, over a dozen different companies to ship plants to their employees. And then we do planterior design.
Oh,
So
that's so
interior
cute.
design, but with plants.
That is so cute. So how did you all get okay, first of all, how did you all meet? Because you went to VSU and you went to Howard. So how did you all even cross paths?
A mutual friend.
Okay.
We both got introduced to each other. We both love plants, both love everything millennials are into. We always had like different things on how to take care of your plants from like our ancestors, our moms, our aunts taught us how to take care of plants, and we just like always bonded over how we care for our plants and how we can
that.
share that with the community.
So you all just got together and you're like, we both love plants. Let's do this.
Kind of. So I saw this tweet on Twitter. It was like 33% of millennials are houseplant owners. And I sent it to Mignon and I was like, this is us. And then she replied back, she's like, I'm going to open a plant shop. So I texted her immediately. I was like, if you're serious, like, let's do it. So we were planning, this is October of 2019, pre-pandemic era. We're both like freelancing in between. Well, me personally, I was in between jobs and
Me too.
We're both in between jobs, and we always like wanted to like really explore explore some type of, I think between the both of us, explore like independent avenues that aren't traditional forms of working. Mignon, she'll tell you, photographer, DJ, stellar graphic designer. My background's in marketing and branding. So I sent her the tweet, texted her, and we just like started like meeting every single week up until Earth Day of 2020. So back in October 2019, when we ideated the concept, we're like, we want Grounded, as Mignon said. We want to teach people how therapeutic plants are, houseplants are. We love houseplants. We're bonding over houseplants. Let's share this with the world. And what better way and better day than to do that on Earth Day of 2020?
That's the best day ever to do that. Seriously.
It is, except the pandemic in 2020, our target scheduled an anticipated day. It had approached. And we were in our minds like, how are we going to, do this? And should we launch? There were so many things to be sensitive for during that time. But we proceeded with the vision. We sent out press releases, strategize like what kind of plants we wanted to offer our community, understanding that a lot of people, and even personally, like, being a beginner plant owner, you have to have the right kind of plant. So we went through not only, of course, the scientific benefits of bringing plants indoors, or like how they make your mental health and make your mind feel, but we also thought about beginner plant parents.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and we really knew that we wanted to like educate them. That was like our biggest thing, giving out free game, offering like those tips on how to care for plants, and then starting people out with plants that are like, beginner friendly.
Yes, because like I am a plant. I actually got all my plants from my house from you all.
Yeah, shout out to you.
Yes, I'm not being the best plant mom though, because the issue is I try to raise each one of my plants the same. Like I water them the same day. I try to give them the same amount of sunlight, but obviously because they're different, they need to be treated differently. So we're gonna get into what I need to do. But I want to go back to what you said. You said that some of these tips you got from your ancestors and from your mom, and they have been passed down. So what were some of those tips that you got on how to take care of plants?
Ooh, natural fertilizer was a big thing. I think in general, when you have your plant care, people just are like, oh, I need to run to the store and grab something. I need to go to Home Depot, Ace Hardware, grab all of this, like these materials that sometimes you already have in your space. So I actually just found this out last week, but my great grandmother used to have like a gallon, a water gallon, like the plastic joint, like
Mhm.
Deer Park,
Mhm.
and she would put banana peels,
Mhm.
eggshells, coffee grinds, a bunch of stuff inside of that pail and like just use it to fertilize her plants.
Wow.
And so we've been able to teach our community those ways, like to create natural fertilizer, to be more sustainable. So it's luckily those things go hand in hand for us.
I love that. Okay, so what are some of the free game you have on how to take care of plants?
I think the biggest thing that I've observed, similar to Mignon, I definitely echo all the natural DIY things that you can do around your house. I think the one thing that I inherited as well would be just being like intuitive and being one with your plant
Mm.
and always knowing like what your plant needs, like building that bond and that connection with your plant, because that's the biggest barrier of being like a new plant owner. You're looking at it maybe as an object, but it's really like a living thing.
Mhm.
And you want to be sure to like connect with it, understand, okay, if this is the watering schedule, if this isn't working, maybe I need to adapt to it. Or if I see the leaves turning yellow, I need to go acknowledge it and give it some love and kind of diagnose it, and also take the initiative to like do research. I think like one of the things that Grounded that we do really well is making sure people are prepared for bringing plants into their spaces.
Yeah.
Like, we don't want to just sell someone a plant and then let them go. We want to hold their hand and say, hey, we have all these tips, resources, hacks. But the biggest thing is forging that connection so that you can
Mhm.
stay grounded. And
Mhm.
that's what I think that I inherited from like my mom and my family, and even like my dad, like being a big plant dad. Like, my plants need this. I'm singing to my plants today. I'm
Oh,
gonna
that's
name,
so
yeah, I'm gonna
cute.
name my plants. My plants have all these unique names, or oh, my baby's not doing well. Like giving it that love and that
Mhm.
attention. So that would be one of my like things that I've inherited and that I would pass on to a new plant parent.
That is so cute. Yeah, because when I got my plants, you were both like, call me, text me, send me pictures, let me know if anything's
And you
happening to the
did.
plant. I did because I haven't been doing a great job at taking care of my plants. I don't know. I think I just traveled too much or something. But anyway, okay, so you all are full-time entrepreneurs. This is your full-time job. How did you all get there? Like, what did the how did you all know what it took to create a successful business?
Mm, that's a good question. The way we got here, I know for me, it was like there's no plan B.
Mm,
I was
it's the
doing
only option.
I was doing photography freelance, and then DJing before we started Grounded, and then I got fired right during COVID, and
No.
so it was like this is all I got for
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
But I think the steps to get here, I feel like it's so crazy when I think back of like all the little small things I would do. I always felt like I was a jack of all trades and a
Mhm.
master of none, but I feel like it
Mm.
built me up to this moment. Like I was doing a little bit of graphic design, a little bit of photography, a little bit of like creating logos and DJing. DJing didn't not so much had an impact, or even like majoring in broadcast journalism.
Mhm.
It kind of felt pointless after graduating and not getting a job.
Mhm.
And now I feel like it helped me with public speaking. And then graphic design, I'm able to like do our logo and do our
Oh,
website.
you made that?
Yeah.
Oh, how cute. Oh, yeah, you are good. Okay, it's
Thank
really
you.
cute.
And then photography, like we don't have to go out and get a photographer.
Outsource.
Sometimes we do, but like I can do our photography, especially like
Oh,
starting off the
wow.
business
Mhm.
and just making sure that our business, like we're not spending too much money
Mm.
on getting talent for things. So
Mhm.
I feel like all of like the hobbies and things that I was doing behind the scenes now it's like with our business, I'm able to like inject that.
That is so cool. So you use like transferable skills that you had for your
Exactly.
business. Okay, how about you? What were your skills that you brought?
My skills, branding and marketing, like
Mhm.
carving out a strategy, carving out a vision, being able to like we kind of are yin and yang, so we bounce all of our talents off of each other, and we'll brainstorm ideas, and then we'll strategize them, structure them, execute them, and plan them, and be really intentional about that.
Mhm.
That's like the biggest thing, always planning and having structure. And that's like a lot of the things that we did at Grounded. build our foundation, make sure all of our legal back office things were in order.
Yeah.
That's first and foremost for in business, making sure you have like your paperwork, your EIN, your bank accounts. We did all of those things as soon as we like launched. Like we had all of our legal things in order, but then it's like, you know, we had a bank account and we got into that. And then even like the patience in building a business, we invested both of our own money into our business, our savings. You know what I mean? We just, no, again, freelance.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of wild when you think about it. We took a risk
Yeah.
and, you know, took that money out, invested into our business. It supported our first drop. We went live. You know, we had a successful launch. And, you know, the patience part that I was talking about is like, you know, not taking from the business. Like as soon as we get money, we are really, really modest and reserved with like being intentional about making sure that we're building a business. We're not here to like make a killer, you know.
Right.
Being in business is being smart and having that strategy and having that mindset and that patience, that waiting game. Because you know, if you rush it or if you're jumping out there and you're not, you know, being intentional and you're not planning practically and, you know, making sure that you have your things in order, you can burn your cash. And you need cash to expand. You need cash to market. You need cash to have an office. We left my mom's house. We started my mom's house, left her house, then went into an office downtown in DC. And that's like kind of crazy. Like, and we had to pay rent. And then we needed Wi-Fi and a whole supplies and plants and vendors. There's all these things that went into like that process of like growing our business and becoming full-time entrepreneurs. And like I said, just like lots of sacrifice and knowing that being on the same page, of course, has been like so great for us because we're like, you know, we'll make this temporary sacrifice so that we can ball out and so we can have our business grow and shine. So I would say, you know, going into being a full-time entrepreneur, those are some of the things that you think about.
Yeah, I feel like you're talking like to me, like these are the words that I need to hear, like developing a plan. And as people who, I don't know if you had like entrepreneurs growing up around you or if you learned some of these tactics in school, but like when you're thinking about being a full-time entrepreneur and developing that plan, what are like some initial things, and this is for the people who want to do this, right? What are some initial things that you really need to think about to get started? I know you said, you know, the business bank account and the legal side, but for me, I feel like I have the creative side. I understand that. But like when it gets to the business and logistics and behind the scenes, I really have no idea what's going on.
That's interesting. I feel like a lot of people feel like they need to have all of that together before they start their business, which I think you should do as much as you can, but you're going to be learning along the way. So I think a lot of people, they really they strive for perfection before they start, but it's like, it's not going to be perfect. You're going to still continue to learn. We learn stuff every day on how we can make our business better. We change the way we do things. We create different like tactics for strategizing. Sometimes we're like, oh shoot, we really like this. Let's scrap this whole thing and change to this. Of course, that's not like the best way to do it every time, but I think sometimes people need to like kind of release themselves from thinking it has to be perfect before they launch or before they start something and just do it because you're gonna shy away from it. You're gonna put it off every day. Set a date. We set Earth Day and we didn't care what happened. I mean, a whole pandemic happened. A whole pandemic happened.
The whole world shook.
That was literally. That was like the biggest reason to be like, let's not do this. But we were like, we're going to do it. So if that doesn't speak to just starting, then I don't know what else will.
Oh, I love that. That was good too. I like that one too. Okay, so we're 4 years later. You all just celebrated your 4th birthday of Grounded. Claps, claps. That's amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
4 years later, tell me, what are you most looking forward to? And hint, I want you to talk about the spot in Anacostia.
Oh, absolutely. We are so excited to lay our roots down into Anacostia. You know, I'll let Mig tell you about this, but she did go to high school there, so she has her own connection to that. But me in particular, I'm so excited to be able to create this space and create this space of healing and a place where people can come and be surrounded by greenery and actualizing, taking all of our vision of teaching people how plants improve your wellness and creating that into a physical space in Haven. Because we've existed on the digital world for 4 years, having this opportunity to have a plant shop, a
Mhm.
cafe, and a wellness
Oh
studio.
my gosh, that is so cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, being able to have people come in, buy a plant, become a new plant parent, bring plants into their house. If they want
Mhm.
plants for their living room or for their bedrooms, we're going to offer those like planterior for residences is
Oh,
what we're
that's so
calling it,
cute.
because we do it for businesses. And then in the plant shop, of course, you can buy a beginner friendly plant.
Mhm.
Rare plants. We'll have big plants as big as your bird of paradise behind you, even bigger,
Poor fella.
but available for purchase. And then, come to the cafe. You can enjoy like a variety of beverages. All of our beverages will be plant based and plant centric, really incorporating the healing properties of plants.
Oh,
Yes. And
cool.
then, of course, we'll have like pastries and light bites like that. We're still exploring those options. But in the wellness studio is one of my favorite parts of the space. We'll offer yoga classes, meditation classes. You can grab a membership. You can take a sound bath class. We have so many ideas and so many classes that we've been brainstorming and strategizing that we want to offer to our community, and just getting creative with like incorporating greenery. And oh, of course, workshops.
Mm.
We'll have workshops in our space for the plant parents that want to build terrariums and
Oh my
repot. We'll do a whole bunch of cool stuff. And did I miss anything?
Oh, I mean, just we've already created a community with like our hike club.
Mhm.
So, like taking people outdoors because just like I said in the beginning, it's important to be outside. Of course, you want to bring nature in, but just
Mhm.
like smelling fresh air, hearing the birds chirp is all important. So, just to add, we'll just make our space into that hub where you can come. We can meet there before we go on a hike or after, and people can enjoy a coffee or a tea, and then doing like stuff after hours too, having like a live band, and people can just come and relax into our space.
Guys, this really sounds like heaven on earth. Like this
It
sounds like the
is.
most
Thank you.
peaceful, wonderful place ever.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
so
Thank you.
excited.
thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
So tell me why Anacostia?
Oh man, so initially when we first really started digging deep about opening our first brick and mortar, of course in our brains is like, oh, let's think about all of the areas in
Mhm.
DC that already have a good amount of foot traffic. That's like U Street, H Street, um, Union Market. All those
Mhm.
areas are pretty populated with like a bunch of stuff going on. And when we really sat back and we're like, okay, let's really think about where do we want our space to be? What space in DC really would benefit from what we're bringing to the table? U Street, H Street, they all have so much stuff going on. But you look at Anacostia, such a thriving area,
Mhm.
such an area that people I feel like kind of ignore because honestly, like they're afraid to go to
Mhm.
Anacostia. But it's predominantly black. It's beautiful. It's right by the water. It has so much potential. For me, especially, I went to Thurgood Marshall, which is literally 3 blocks from where our store is going to
Oh
be.
wow.
And so just seeing that area come up now, and when we went down there to look for spaces, the first space we wanted was already taken. And then we saw the space that we're in now, and we're like, oh, what about this one? And they were like, yeah, it's open. You guys can like, put in like paperwork for it and see if you can
No
get it.
way.
And it all worked out. I feel like we just actually did a ribbon cutting yesterday with the mayor to open up the building.
Wow.
Yeah,
That
thank
is so
you.
cool.
So the building that we're in, DC Housing, is upstairs. They just
Mhm.
moved their office there, and we did a big ribbon cutting. We were able to speak, introduce the mayor. It was like a really big deal. And afterwards, I called Danny, and I'm like, if we were on 14th Street, they would never do this for us. Like
No.
everyone seems so excited for us to
Yeah.
come. We really feel a part of the community. We feel like we're actually bringing something beneficial to the community. We've even been talking to my high school, Anacostia High School, talking about how the kids can be involved.
Oh,
So
that
we're
would be
opening,
nice.
we're doing a teen wellness club so they can come to our wellness studio and like take classes. And then that's just like another way to really be in the community and feel more just a part of everything going on in Anacostia. So we're so excited to be there. Every day I'm like, yes, we picked the right place.
Let me tell you all why I love this, because as we know, DC is such a city full of gentrification, right? So you have all of these folks coming in and starting businesses, but the issue is there's no connection to the community. Like they
Mhm.
don't care about the communities that they're serving or that they're in or that they're selling things to. But you all are opening in a place that needs it, right? I used to live in Anacostia. People were always looking for something holistic, something grounding,
Right.
something that they can connect to in that area, but there isn't any because everybody's scared of over there.
Mm-hmm.
But you all are like, no, I'm coming here because I'm from here and I love y'all and I want to share with y'all. So that's really huge. And I love that a lot.
Thank you.
And we
Thank
want to
you.
help heal people too as well, like,
Yes.
and introduce like this therapeutic practice that has been, you know, many generations before
Mhm.
us, even a full circle moment for Black people and connecting with nature, bringing that edge and bringing that not edge, I want to say bringing that peace and
Mhm.
that solace to Anacostia, because there's so many mental health disparities
Mhm.
in Anacostia in contrast to other parts of the city. There's a lack of nature in Anacostia. Yeah, there's Anacostia Park and a few other green spaces, but when you look at the map of DC, it's starkly different. There's not enough access to green spaces. In our space, we're planning for that space to be just another space for people to come in and experience being surrounded by greenery in a way that integrates their wellness with the wellness studio. So I just wanted to echo what Mignon said and just talk about how we're so excited to be able to help people like feel good and help them feel grounded is what
Yeah.
we've been is what we say.
That's cute. I love that. So, as we talk about DC and those stark differences, we have to mention the racism that exists with like within sustainability. And can you all touch on that and just educate people on the type of research that you all have found throughout this process?
Yes. So, for one, we do a lot of research on the amount of nature in an area versus the amount of crime in an area.
Mm.
So, there's some research done that the areas like more suburban areas, they have more greenery, there's less crime. Of course, there's other factors,
Yeah.
but there is a similarity with like if there's not enough green spaces in like the city, there's more crime in that area. So, I feel like our overarching theme is to create greener spaces. So whether our brick and mortar be that green space or even going outdoors and creating more parks, like little small parks inside of different areas, maybe in Ward 8, then that will help in addition to other things
Mhm.
to solving the crime problem. But that and then also just like how greenery and nature affects your wellness. And I feel like taking people outdoors. We're actually launching a nonprofit called Grounded in Nature. It's already established, but we haven't. This is kind of like the first time talking about it.
Breaking, okay, come on,
Breaking
tell
news.
us.
It's called Grounded in Nature, and it's geared towards taking teenagers outside safely. So introducing teenagers to hiking, whitewater rafting, kayaking, all of these different activities I know for me, I was introduced to because I was a Girl Scout.
Oh, cool.
But I feel like it made me such a more well-rounded
Mhm.
person. It taught me how to get outdoors and do different things. I feel like a lot of people feel limited in how they get outdoors. It's
Mhm.
because nature is not the most accessible. Even with our hike club, we'll go to Rock Creek Park with like 20 Black people, and people are stopping us. Oh, what are y'all doing? Like,
Really?
y'all have a like, is this a walking group? It's like we're just doing exactly what you're doing.
Right.
So just making sure that we're creating that space for our community. And then we think it's really important to teach people at a young age how to do those things because it can help with like conflict resolution. It can help with
Yeah.
just like expanding your mindset. If you're angry or not feeling well, you go outside and maybe that helps you feel a bit more grounded and a bit more at peace. So just figuring out how we can take our business and like help solve the problems going on in the city our way. 'Cause I
Mhm.
think everyone has a way that they can combat what's going on. Like, of course, we all see the craziness going on in DC, but it's like, how can you use your voice in a strategic way to help reach like the teens and the community in general?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like, I'm sure they'd be interested in that. Like, people always want to have these workshops where they gotta sit and listen to panels.
Yeah.
Like, no, you're like, let's go outside and play.
Exactly.
And that's what we need to get back to is the playfulness and like being outside and being with nature. But
Exactly.
speaking of that, you all have been talking about like the healing properties of plants. Can you tell us some of the healing properties that come with putting a plant inside of your house?
It is an automatic de-stressor.
Wow.
You know, in your room in particular, we have we both collaboratively have like a lot of plants in our room, but I just want to touch on how different plants are converting carbon dioxide while you sleep into and turning it into oxygen. So that's great for your physical wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I think about your mental wellness, I think about waking up this every morning, having a routine, incorporating my greenery into the routine, connecting with my plants, watering my plants, spending time like playing music, getting ready, checking on my plants. It's very grounding and it de-stresses. Or even coming home after work and checking on my plants and being able to be present, put my phone down and really sit there. So when we think about plants, they're just so expansive and so transformative in that way that it's helping in elevating your physical and your mental wellness. So another property I think about besides like being de-stressing and plants being grounding, I think about how plants like boost your productivity levels. Like they make you feel more more connected to your work and in a way that's like, when you're at work, you don't want to be cooped up or at in a stuffy environment. You want to be surrounded by greenery. That helps you like it just changes your mind frame being able to like draw from inspiration from your greenery. We do that in our office. Of course, we have 1,000 plants in our office at any given time, but we'll like literally look at the greenery to pull ideas and think about ways that we can like elevate an idea that we're currently brainstorming or to solve a problem because we're always putting out a million fires. So just being able to like look and turn to the plants to help you like boost your productivity, inspire you, and also de-stress you.
Wow. Okay, I didn't realize they were like a source of inspiration. Like okay, let's talk about my plants now because y'all, they're not, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I got a birds of paradise and all of my like leaves are breaking. Like they're like snapped right here. And then I have what else? What is my other plant? I don't think it's another birds of paradise, but it's just like there's just a lot of dead plants at the bottom, like a lot of dead leaves at the bottom. I had to send y'all a picture.
Okay.
I need help. Like I really want them to come back.
I think one thing we always talk about is actually doing research on your plants. So birds of paradise, if you go to like Miami or even like Hawaii or somewhere tropical, you'll see those plants in the wild and they're thriving. So if you do research and you look at like, okay, my plant is from a tropical location. What makes up a tropical location? A lot of rainfall, a lot of humidity. The soil stays moist and not soggy, but it doesn't completely dry out. So you want to like kind of recreate that inside of your space. So if you know that you keep the air on or you keep the heat on, that kind of dries out your air. Then you need to supplement that with some form of humidity, whether that's having a humidifier that sits next to your plants or misting it, which is like a good way to like really be in tune with your plants, just misting them and like taking your time to really look at the leaves and analyze them before you get a bunch of like dead leaves at the bottom.
I'm so ashamed.
But yeah, I think that will help for the first thing. And then I know in the beginning you said you kind of put all your plants on one schedule.
Yes.
We don't recommend that. When we ship out orders to people, we give them a card that has like some information on how often you should water. And we'll say like every 7 to 10 days, but really you should put your finger in the soil, which is also good for your wellness. But feel the soil. If it's super gloomy for a week, your soil might not dry out as fast and you don't need to water it as like often. But just like really getting your hands dirty and making sure that each plant is like catered specific to its needs, because you can't be watering your cactus every day and your birds of paradise because they're two different plants and they're from two different areas. So that's one thing to be mindful of.
Okay, I'm gonna start putting my hand in the soil and seeing when it's dry so I can water them when they need it.
Exactly.
Do you all also have pots at this shop? Because I need a new pot for my plant.
Yes, we'll have like not only pots, we'll have other things that will complement your plants. Currently in our inventory, we offer like different accessories, watering cans, moisture meters, gnat traps. We have like misters, we have propagation stations, and you'll see like an elevation of that in our space. Working with cool vendors and cool artists that are designing like beautiful planters. This is like a little a reminder. Mignon's a ceramicist, so hoping to see like her work too, of course, in our space.
Yeah. So okay, what was your favorite like project or artist or brand that you all worked with that you really liked the project?
First thing that comes to mind is Ari Lennox actually made a song for us.
What song is it?
It's called Grounded.
No way.
Yeah, and it's crazy because we'll see people like put it on their story
That
or
is so cool.
sing it, and we're like, oh wow, that's surprise.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it was. What year was that?
That was 2021 during Black Friday.
Oh wow.
And she collaborated with Google in the United States Black Chamber of Commerce to produce a jingle for Black owned businesses. And they asked her, what's a business that you would be interested in working with or highlighting, and she chose our business. And we had done something with her previously. She interviewed us, and we also helped her with the photo shoot. So we were talking to her about her plant care and her tips. So to hear her sing that song and like talk about her plants is, like Mignon said, super cool.
So you guys didn't know what was about to happen?
No, we did. They told us, they reached out to us and they said Ari Lennox like chose you as a business she wanted to make a jingle for, and the song is really good.
Yeah, I'm gonna listen to it on my way home.
It's good. She like talks about different types of plants, and it's cute.
It's super short. It's not long enough. It's one of those songs you're like, can you make an extended version for this song?
All of the best songs are so short.
Exactly.
So as y'all see, I have my fake plants right here.
God.
I'm so ashamed. Okay, but I'm gonna get some new grounded plants. What would you recommend in order to foster creativity, to make people feel safe in here, to make people feel comfortable, but also just like, that goes in line with my tropical summertime brand? What would you all recommend?
Ooh.
We already got a Birds of Paradise, and this one's real, so everybody knows.
I would say like a Monstera. That's one of my favorite plants. They're super bushy. They're pretty low maintenance, but they are one of the plants that are from a tropical area, so you do have to mist them.
How do they feel about sunlight? Because they close these windows when we're not in here.
Then maybe not. Yeah, maybe like a snake plant or a ZZ plant, because those they can thrive in low light.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like you have a window over here too. They can maybe go over there, but you don't have to water them every day or every week even. You can water them every like 3 weeks.
Okay.
So that's like a good starter plant and a good like I forget to water, or I kind of just put it there and forget about it type of plant.
Are doing the best.
Exactly.
My snake plant is huge. I had to separate it into 2 different pots because it's so big, and my ZZ plant is doing really well too.
Exactly.
That's good. Those are super low maintenance.
Very.
But they're gonna look nice when you add more greenery in here. This one's doing really well.
It is. I really like this one. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to go. How do we like find you so we can buy some plants?
So before the store opens, you can find us on our website, www.feelgrounded.com, FEEL grounded.com. On Instagram is grounded, GROUN.DED.
Okay, and also just so everyone knows, I have a code, plants for summer. Summer spelled like this, like me. So yeah, you can book through there. Okay, I'm so excited. So 4 years of Grounded. We've just celebrated the birthday. What does the next 4 years look like for you all?
Next 4 years at Grounded is creating greener spaces. Mignon touched on that a little bit earlier. Just being able to work with the city, creating more public green spaces. That's something that we have a big vision for. We've worked with over 100 organizations now on the corporate side. So seeing which organizations align with our mission of creating greener spaces. A lot of people came back to the office, so they value like wellness in their spaces. So we want to make sure that we have a plan and collaborate with like-minded companies that are interested in using greenery or implementing corporate wellness programs into their companies where, employees will be surrounded by greenery. And we work with a lot of businesses currently doing that, installing greenery, conducting maintenance, and then of course, like offering workshops to their teams if they want to send plants to their teams. Those are all the things that we do. So, of course, after launching our brick and mortar, we just want to continue pushing that forward, just teaching people how green spaces make you feel grounded and feel great. So yeah, next 4 years.
I love that. And then if somebody because I want to go on the next hike. Like, how do we find out about that? On the Instagram page?
On Instagram, but we also have a portion of our site for our hike club where you can sign up, and you'll be entered into our newsletter, and we'll send you like information about different hikes that we're going on. We also we do hikes a lot, but we also do other things. Like tomorrow, we're having a natural plant dye class where we're teaching people how to dye bandanas with indigo. This was Earth Week. We're ending off Earth Week, but we went indoor bouldering.
What is that?
It's rock climbing, but inside.
Okay.
With like the different colorful, different things
rocks
on the wall. Yeah, it's like fake rocks. What else did we do?
I saw
We
you
did a
went
fishing
fishing.
trip.
We did fishing.
Yes.
What?
I'm like
Where
drawing a
were
blank.
you?
We were in Chesapeake Bay in Pasadena, Maryland. I'm an
Wow.
angler. I love to fish. Fishing is so therapeutic for me.
That
And
is
we
really cool.
incorporated that into Earth Week. So we went fishing. We did the rock climbing. We went on a foraging hike. We foraged wild herbs. And
What?
yes, and herbs, you know, being able to identify them in the wild. We did that with a cool guy named Matt. We had a reception to celebrate our 4-year anniversary. And like Meg said, we're doing a plant diet workshop.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I missing something?
That's why I
else?
feel like we're doing a
No.
cooking class too.
Yes, we're doing a cooking class,
What?
but we also we celebrated Earth Day with Smithsonian Anacostia, and they had a big Earth Day celebration, and we were there last year, and we got to work with them again this year, and met people in Anacostia, telling them about the store, getting them excited. People were so happy to
I know
hear
they
that.
were.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, I'm gonna come and get some plants.
I love y'all are doing the coolest thing ever.
Thank
like
you.
this is my
Thank you.
dream job here. Okay. Well, because
Thank
you
you.
all have been giving back to the community.
Wow,
What?
stop it.
Gift.
Wow,
You're,
thank
you're
you so
sneaky. 'Cause
much.
I didn't even see that
Yeah,
behind
I
your
didn't
chair.
even
I didn't even
see
see
it.
that.
Wow.
Yes,
Thank you
a
so
little gift.
much.
Aw,
Yes,
thank
so thank you
you.
all for being here. I see you all
Summer,
wear one
summer,
hat
summer
sometimes.
time.
That's right. So I
Thank
got
you.
you all. Yes, and I just really appreciate you
So
all for
cool.
coming here and sharing this really cool
Thank you so
story
much.
Of course.
and
Thank you so
allowing me to
much.
be a part of it. Yeah, I appreciate you all.
We're so proud of you and
Yes,
all that you're doing
congratulations.
too. Yeah. I feel like we met you maybe 2 years ago?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
been
2
2
years.
years.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And love to see what you're doing. Love to see you growing and blossoming. Like Danuelle said, you're such a natural. So we really appreciate you bringing us on and letting us spread a message about what we're doing.
Yes, I'm so here for it.
Thank you so much.
I value and align with the message you all are spreading. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Summer.